What is going on, Dolphins fans? Welcome to eMiami. This week, it's Tua time. In this week's episode of eMiami, we're going to take a look at two simulations. One we're only going to have the stats for, and the other one we're actually going to have highlights for. The one we're only going to have stats for is actually a Ryan Fitzpatrick quarterback simulation for the Miami Dolphins versus the San Francisco 49ers. I went ahead and simulated that game, just did a quick simulation, looked at the stats, and then Thursday night, I actually went into Madden and simulated the full game and actually watched it with Tua Time starting at quarterback to see what kind of outcome we'd have. Before I go any further into the specifics of those games, I just wanted to let you guys know, in my simulations, I did leave out Raheem Mostert and Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers because at the time, it didn't look like they were going to play. It looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is actually going to get a chance to play this Sunday. However, that doesn't make too much of a difference with the Dolphins on the offensive side of the ball, and that's really what we're looking at here. This week's update in Madden had a big impact on the Dolphins players and their overalls, and we're going to go over some of those now. Some of the biggest keys in this week's Madden ratings were actually drops in the overalls for players like Kyle Van Noy, Jordan Howard, Matt Breida. Each of these three players lost 2 points on their overall, with Kyle Van Noy going from an 86 down to an 84, Jordan Howard from a 77 to a 75, and Matt Breida going from a 79 down to a 77. Not really what you're looking to see, and honestly, I'm going to say I'm a little bit surprised on the Kyle Van Noy change. Kyle Van Noy hasn't played outstanding, but to drop him 2 overall points after the first couple weeks seems like a bit of an overreaction to me. Van Noy's been playing fairly well, and you can tell he's one of the smarter linebackers on the team, so to see him go from an 86 down to an 84 is a little bit confusing. On the positive note, you have players like Myles Gaskin continuing to improve. He went up 2 points from 68 up to a 70, and you have Zach Sealer and Austin Jackson increasing their overalls by 1 point. Sealer moving up to a 66 and Austin Jackson moving up to a 65. If you look at the total change, you'll see that Myles Gaskin has moved up 4 points from the initial launch ratings to now. I know that you also have Solomon Kinley, who's moved up 4 overall points, and it's great to finally see Austin Jackson getting that 1 point overall boost, as I think he was way too low at a 64. But it's really sad to know that Austin Jackson is now going to be on the IR and probably not going to be able to play the rest of the season. The simulation we ran with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback did not end well for the Dolphins. The stats are going to be up on the screen now. As you can see, the Dolphins lost that game 23-6. The offense actually moved the ball fairly well, having 300 passing yards with 74 rushing yards. But the big story of the day was sacks. The Dolphins allowed 11 sacks to the San Francisco 49ers in that game, and a lot of that was probably due to Ryan Fitzpatrick's inability to move outside of the pocket and understand what was happening in the pocket, at least as far as Madden simulations go. Ryan Fitzpatrick did not throw any touchdowns and had 1 interception on the day. Nick Mullins didn't have a great day either, throwing 13 for 26 with 166 yards. No touchdowns and no interceptions, but the defense for the 49ers was the story of the day. Next, we're going to get a chance to look at some highlights from the Tua Time game. And just to let you guys know, Tua did start slow, so you're not going to see too many highlights from the first half. However, in the fourth quarter, it did pick up, and he mounted a pretty good set of drives for the Dolphins, and we'll see if that outcome was beneficial for us. Tua looking like he was going to roll out, but finds Isaiah Ford again. Tua isn't ready. Oh, Tua with another beautiful pass in the middle of the field. Jason Sanders with his new 73 overall instead of 72. Sanders makes it through the middle. We'll see if that's just more they haven't been going to it. Oh, good stiff arm for McKinnon, picking up room. Oh, he's gone. That's a touchdown after the stiff arm. Way to break a tackle. Touchdown San Francisco after really bad run defense for the Dolphins. Oh. Fake handoff this time. Oh, Tua's just going to run it himself. Good slide, picking up the first down.
A 55-yard attempt.
That's a good distance. See if he's got the leg. Oh, it's short. What in the world was that?
His kick.
The 45. Great field position for them. Another handoff to McKinnon, who again has a ton of room. Eric Rowe is able to bring him down, but after, what is that, a 20, 30-yard gain? Ooh, nice blitz up the middle from Baker, who brings him down for the sack. Last one was good. Let's see what happens on this one. Another field goal.
Good.
Tua trying to find Isaiah Ford, but it's cut off and batted down. Mullins again looking to pass. Oh, cornerback was Byron Jones was coming off the edge, but he found George Kittle. He's able to pick up 22 yards. Dolphins looking for a big stop. Mullins has time in the pocket. Finding the backup tight end, and it's a touchdown for the 49ers. Mullins looking for the pass. Oh, finding Taylor. Covered by Eric Rowe, who couldn't keep up with him. That's another touchdown for the 49ers. To another pass in the middle of the field to Devontae.
Tagovailoa's pass complete to Devontae Parker.
I mean, the Dolphins are putting the ball into his hands here in the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't see why not.
56, the mic, boys, 56. Let's go.
See if Tua can make something happen. Has to roll out to his right. Has some room to run, and he does. Oh, so close to the end zone, and he slides at the floor. Parker in motion. Tua dropping back to pass. Finding Parker inside the end zone. Touchdown, Dolphins. Mullins dropping back. Having to roll out to his left. Throws across his body, and it's incomplete.
Mullins
Linebacker we have at times. Ooh, Tua finds Parker. Able to pick up about 15 yards. Dolphins moving the ball. Tua's getting in rhythm after having a slow first half.
A gain of.
Let's see what Tua does. Tua finds gas in the middle of the field. Able to move it into 49ers territory. Oh, Tua with a deep pass. Oh, and it's incomplete to Parker. He had him open. Oh, Madden, what are you doing? Tua would have completed that pass. Open on the left. Tua passing it over to Williams, who has room in the middle, and he takes it in for the touchdown. Nice job on the fourth and inches. Another run for McKinnon. He finds room on the outside. Oh, and it looks like McKinnon's just going to hold on to this. And I think that run is going to seal it for the 49ers. And that'll do it for this game. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Dolphins 24-17 after a really slow first half for the Dolphins. So the Dolphins were outgained in total yards. 49ers had 167 rushing yards, really most of that being McKinnon's big run. But he was able to run pretty consistently in there at the end when they needed it. He got it. Tua actually outthrew Nick Mullins, which you would expect. But Dolphins just not able to convert in the first half. Dolphins only scored 3 points through the first 3 quarters. Finally able to score 14 in the fourth quarter. And the defense actually played fairly well against the 49ers there, but just not what you want to see. Tua, 75% completion percentage, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns with no interceptions. Nick Mullins with a really similar game. 148 yards, 69% completion percentage, and again, 2 touchdowns. Story of the day, though, is Jerick McKinnon destroying our defense. 22 attempts, 168 yards, an average of 7.6 yards per carry. Not the outcome we were looking for, with the Dolphins coming up just short of a comeback victory against the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, the 49ers run game was a problem all day long, as the 49ers have a really good offensive line. But as we saw, Tua started off really slow. The offense wasn't really able to get much going, but in the fourth quarter, they exploded for 14 points, 2 crucial scoring drives, and bringing the game within 1 scoring drive in just a matter of a little bit too late for the offense to show up, and the 49ers pull away 24-17. If you were to just compare the 2 Madden games, you could very easily say that Madden thinks it's time to start Tua over Ryan Fitzpatrick. And after last week's performance, it looks like it's time to sit Ryan Fitzpatrick down. But I am with Brian Flores and a lot of the other 5 Reasons Sports contributors on this, and I think we have to wait on Tua. This is a really weird year. We had a really short training camp. We had no preseason games. You'd be throwing him in after learning the offense in a really short time frame, and I don't think he's really ready to start. On top of that, one of the things you really want to do with Tua is keep him healthy. This is a very crucial season in terms of development, but anybody that expects this season to be a season about making it to the playoffs and making a deep playoff run is kidding themselves. This is a fun team, and they actually look a lot better than they did last year, but this is not a team that's going to go very far in the playoffs. This season is about making your young players develop and develop right. You have players like Noah Monogany who has to get more playing time, as we can see. Yeah, he's had some bad plays, but you really need to give him some time to get better, improve, and learn his mistakes. That's what's going to happen. I mean, he's the youngest player in the NFL. He will get better. You've got Solomon Kindley at right guard. He also needs to improve. And the most crucial one, I think, when it comes to this whole Tua situation, Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson was having a pretty decent year so far, but now he's been put on the IR. Whether that's designated to return later in the season or he's out for the year, that's a big loss for the Miami Dolphins. Whether they move Jesse Davis over to left tackle and then start Robert Hunt at right tackle, or if they leave Jesse Davis at right tackle and then put Julian Davenport in at left tackle, I think we're really gambling here if we decide to start Tua and let him play with an offensive line that was playing fairly well but is now banged up. It is time to keep Tua healthy. It is time to give him an opportunity to learn. Leave him behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's see what happens. Start him later in the season if you have to. Once we get to double-digit weeks like week 10, week 11, then look to start Tua if you really want to get him some playing time. But right now, give him some time to learn. Give him some time to just sit back, see how Ryan Fitzpatrick does things. And honestly, if he can learn from Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think that's a great player to learn from. Yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't had a great year, but you've got to love Ryan Fitzpatrick's heart and his just like demeanor on the field. He plays like a young child, excited for everything that happens. The way he celebrates all the touchdowns, the way he brings up the guys around him. I think Fitzpatrick will have a really good impact on Tua moving forward because Tua already has great character. He already has a fantastic demeanor. And if he can pick up a couple of those toughness attributes from Ryan Fitzpatrick, some of that knowledge that he has from being in the league for so long, Tua is going to be an amazing quarterback once he does get a chance to start. And look out for this Dolphins team next year. When we get a full year of Tua, that team is going to be one that we definitely should expect to have a good amount of wins and make a playoff run. But going back to this Sunday's game against the San Francisco 49ers, George Kittle is going to be a huge target for that offense, whether Jimmy Garoppolo plays quarterback or Nick Mullins plays quarterback. Eric Rowe this season has done a pretty good job covering tight ends and kind of locking them up. He's kind of become a tight end specialist ever since halfway through last season when they switched him to that role after moving him from cornerback to safety. Keep Eric Rowe on George Kittle and see how he does. This is a really good test for him. Eric Rowe seems like he could shut down these tight ends. And yes, George Kittle is still going to get his catches. He's still going to have a decent day. But if you can stop him from being the amazing impact player that he is, you can hold him back from making a real difference on the game. I would say that's a win for Eric Rowe. The Dolphins have to take advantage of a San Francisco 49ers defense that's banged up. The San Francisco 49ers defense was a really good one coming into the season, but a slew of injuries hit them after they played in New York. They've lost Nick Bosa, they've lost Solomon Thomas, and they've lost Richard Sherman. Yes, they still have a really good set of linebackers in Fred Warner and Quan Alexander, but their cornerbacks are a little bit depleted, and I don't think that their defensive line is as strong as it was before. So look for our offensive line to try to keep them in check. But if Julian Davenport starts at left tackle, that may cause some problems for the Dolphins. My prediction for this Sunday's game against the San Francisco 49ers is a really tough one. I think that the Dolphins are going to be able to pull this one through and win the game 27-24 because the defense is going to make some key stops and the offense is going to have a good first half and then kind of trail off in the second half, but they'll play really well to start off. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to check out the full replay of the game on my Twitch channel. You're going to see the link here on the video and also down below. You're going to see not only the game that we just had Tua play, but you're going to see the previous weeks as well. And like I said, I'm going to keep streaming them moving forward. So hop on in, ask some questions, tell me what your predictions are for the game, and we can just chat there while the game is going on. Subscribe, like, comment, interact with us. Let us know what you think. We love to hear from you guys, and we look forward to always giving you guys some great content on sports here in South Florida. As always, go Dolphins.